You should be aware from previous years of maths what the measures of centre are. Have you heard of mean, median and mode before? Sometimes your teachers fail to, although the mainstream year 10s that I had last year, you know all about this. This is the same lesson. Why? Why do we need the measures of centre? What is the purpose of a measure of centre? It's to summarise a whole data set in one single number. For example, this was in 2025, February, because those year 10s the boys in that class liked NBA. This is the last 10 games by LeBron James and Luka Doncic, their points. Can you tell me definitively, by looking at these scores, who was actually better? Are you going to be able to tell me who was better, looking at all of those numbers? By eye? This is the purpose for a measure of centre, because I can tell you in one number who was better. You cannot tell right away who was better over the last 10 games, because there's too much information here about LeBron. There's too much information here about Luka Doncic. We can't go just straight across. Okay, for the first one, Luka was worse. For the second one, they were the same. For the third, Luka was worse. Can I just decide now that Luka was worse? No, because there's some games where Luka did better. Okay? It is hard to compare that many numbers to that many numbers. But what if we averaged each player's set of numbers? Would I be able to compare a bit easier now? Because I'll have one number on one side and I'll have one number on the other. And it turns out that the average is both 24.5. If you added those numbers together and divided by 10 for LeBron and for Luka Doncic, they'd both, so just write in 24.5 in your purple box. I can definitively say none of them was better. They were both exactly the same over that 10 games. Why do I do that? That is an illustration about why you need to know the mean, median, and mode. Because the one number I can compare. So let's revise. How do you find the mean? The mean, otherwise known as the average, is the mathematical center of the data set. How do I find it? Have this formula on your cheat sheet. It's the sum of all the data values. If I say sum, what operation am I doing in maths? I'm adding everything together, and then I'm dividing the sum of all the data values by how many data values there were. Now let's go into some of the positives and the negatives, the strengths and weaknesses of the mean. The mean is the most commonly used measure of center. This is because all the data is used to calculate the mean. We don't ignore any of the data when we calculate the mean. Why? Because I had to friggin' add them all together. I used all of the numbers to find it. So in science and maths, the mean is the most used measure of center. That's a positive. But what's a negative about the mean? It is affected by outliers. So for example, if my data set was 1, 2, 3, and 6, how would I find the mean? What would I do to find the mean of those four numbers? You got the formula right there. Add them together, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 6, and divide them by, how many numbers are there? 4. So you're going to have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's going to be 12 over 4. So the mean is going to be 3. Does 3 nicely represent those numbers? Does 3 look like it's kind of in the middle of 1, 2, 3, and 6? Good, let's do the same thing. But what would you call 256? Is that an outlier? Does that sit far away? So, if I found the mean of this, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 256 divided by 4, that's not going to be as nice. 256, 259, 261, 262 over 4. I don't know that off the top of my head. 262 divided by 4, 65.5. Do you see what I mean by the mean is affected by outliers? Does 65.5 really represent these numbers well? No, because most of those numbers are around 1, 2, and 3. 256 just sticks out. So what is a negative of the mean? It is affected by outliers. This is why when you hear on the news, when they talk about what is house prices in South Australia, they often tell you the median, because the mean can be messed about. In Aberfoyle Park, where's the more expensive houses? It's sort of up the hills. So if I found the average of the house prices in Aberfoyle Park, it might not give you a good idea because you've got sort of the plebs down the bottom and then you got some rich people up the top, and it sort of messes with the numbers. What if we were in Brighton? What would the prices be along the beach? High or low? High. But then across Brighton Road, not going to be so high because it's not that close to a beach. That's why we go to the median. So the median of a data set is the positional center of the data if the data is in numerical order. Please underline numerical order. So I'm sure in previous years, your teachers would have told you to find the median, put the numbers in order, and then, okay, I've got a bunch of numbers in order. And they would have told you, okay, count one from both sides. Have you seen that? Have you been shown that to find the median? You just find the middle one. That's all well and good. What if you had to find the median of 100 numbers? Would that take you a while? Okay, you need a formula for it. So use mine. The median is the number in the n plus 1 over 2th position in numerical order. So this formula doesn't tell you what the mean is. See how here? It just told you what the mean was. It was 65.5. Here it told you the mean was 3. This formula is going to tell you where it is. It's going to tell you the position of it. And just be careful, if n is even, the position of the median is going to be between two numbers. So if it says the 6.5th position, the median is going to be halfway between 6 and 7. Okay? So the median is going to be the average of those two numbers. So let's do some examples there. What is the positive of the median? It is not affected by outliers. What is the negative of the median? The median only involves the data in the center of the data set. We ignore all the other numbers. We only care about the two numbers like either side of the butt cheeks of the middle of the data set. Okay? So it ignores all the other numbers. Let's demonstrate that. How do I find the median of 1, 2, 3, 6, and 9? Are those numbers in numerical order already? Let's practice using the formula. The median is in the n plus 1th position. There are 6 numbers here. So n is equal to 6. So my formula is going to be 6 plus 1 over 2th. What is 6 plus 1? It's 7 over 2. Oh, no, sorry, that's 5. What am I... That's going to be on click view now. Well, let's start over. There are 5 numbers. N is going to be 5. Here we go. And then, what's the formula going to be? 5 plus 1 over 2th. What's 5 plus 1 going to be? 6 over 2th. 6 over 2. It's not going to be th, it's going to be third. So, which number is in the third position of those? 3. Therefore, median equals 3 because it's in the third position. Let's demonstrate one where you have an even number. So 1, 2, 3, and 6. How many numbers are there? There's 4. So your formula is going to be 4 plus 1 over 2th. It's going to be 5 over 2th. It's going to be the 2.5th number. What the hell does that mean? The median is going to be the average. Well, it's going to be here. 2.5 is there. So the median is going to be the average of 2 and 3. What is the average of 2 and 3? What's exactly halfway between 2 and 3? Good. So 2.5 average of 2 and 3 is 2.5. So that's the median. 2.5 is the median for that second example. I'll draw a line there because I'm using up the space. Why do you think I'm doing the last example there for the median? What's 256 again? That's an outlier. Is the median going to change in any way whatsoever? No. Is the median going to be exactly the same for that last one? Because are they in numerical order? Yes. N plus 1 over 2 is going to be 2.5. What's the 2.5th number? It's still going to be 2.5. So the median would be 2.5 again. That is why we need to know the median. If you have a set of data and you got some real spiky data, you got lots of real high ones and lots of real low ones, but you still want to represent your data well, you might need to choose the median instead of the average, okay? Because the median, not affected by that. It's exactly the same. What happened to the mean with the same data? Completely changed. And then lastly, mode. The mode of a data set is simply the most common data value. There is no formula. You just friggin' look. The mode is the highest frequency data value. It's the one that you see the most. Why do we use the mode? What's good about it? It's easy to find. What's the negatives? The mode is not really meaningful compared to the mean or median. There's no maths involved. It's just the one that happened most often. It's an interesting thing to say. So in this set of data, 1, 2, 3, 3, 6, 9. What would the mode be? 3. Good. Mode would be 3. It happened twice. So I do want to demonstrate an example. Because you've got the 2 pages across from each other, I think you've got space. So this is your page. This is the second half. You've got this example here. I think you've got space to do the working out on the left, okay? So you don't need to use another page in your book. Do your working out on your little printout in this area here, okay? The number of planes flying to a remote airstrip over 15 days is below. For this data set, I want to find the mean. Can I find the mean straight away? Do I need to put it in order to find the mean? No, I just need to add the numbers up. So let me demonstrate that. Mean is going to be 5 plus 7 plus 0 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 4 plus 0 plus 5 plus 3, 6 plus 9 plus 4 plus 2 plus 8 divided by, what am I dividing it by? 15. So let me work that out quickly. You'll have a calculator for your test. 5 plus 7 plus 0 plus 3 plus 4 plus 6. 5 plus 3 6 plus 4 divided by 15. 4.4. Done. Can I find the median straight away? What do I need to do first before I find the median? It needs to be in numerical order. So what are the first numbers going to be? 0. How many? 2 of them. So cross them out. Next. Next. Next.
4.
You sure?
3.
There's another 3 here. Next. 4. Next.
4.
Let's do this because I'm literally asking you to do this in the test. That's why I'm demonstrating it, because if I'm asking you to do something in the test, I'm going to do it as well. Okay? So, yes, I know that you're... How many... is there another one?
Yes.
Another 4. 5.
5.
Next.
6.
Next.
6.
There's another.
7.
Yep.
8. 9.
Why did I do it with that same spacing? To make sure that I haven't missed anything. If it lines up with the numbers above, then I haven't missed anything, right? So, median. How do I do the working out for the median? Median is the n plus 1 over 2th number. There's 15 days. So, 15 plus 1 over 2th. 15 plus 1 is 16 over 2. It's going to be the 8th number. So let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So median equals 4. What's the mode? Do you need a formula for the mode? No, the formula said just friggin' look. So the look, which one happened the most? It's useful to do it in order to find the mode, because then you can see which one happened the most easy. 4. The mode is 4. That's pretty much the end of the video. What I'd like you to do, please, because I need to check some people's progress. Can you work on exercise 9F1? those ones there and 9F2, all of it, until o'clock, 12, and then we'll start your assignment where you're doing this as well.